When I went blind, I wasn't necessarily terrified to not see. What I was afraid of was that I'd be left out of stuff. I hate being on the sidelines. I want to be right in the thick of it. You have to look beyond the visual world. It's a lot of discipline and it's a lot of faith. Like just saying, okay, the only thing that matters is the next step.
Hey, morning, Timmy. This is my buddy Felipe. We're going to Patagonia.
Hi, Timmy.
What's up, Felipe? Okay,
Finally, after you talking about Patagonia for years and years, we're finally going.
Wow, lucky. What a wild place, dude. Ferocious weather.
Wait, you're supposed to make it sound beautiful, like and sunny, and like we're gonna have success.
Well, I would make it sound that way if it actually were that way, but generally it's not. So, Felipe, you haven't climbed down there yet?
No, I haven't climbed yet. I'm really, really excited since I'm from Chile, and it's been many, many years that I've been dreaming for this. So I'm just really excited to hear your stories and be down there with Erik.
Well, hopefully your dreams come true, but also realize that even if it turns into a nightmare, that's still a dream that can come true. It's just the opposite version of the one you want.
Felipe is my friend who I met in Wyoming. He's a really strong climber, really enthusiastic. He's a great mountain runner too. And he's just also like a really warm human who's always thinking about other people and being very, very diligent, like making sure I understand all the terrain in front of me.
It's red and black. These are red and black. I met Erik 4 years ago. He has pushed the limits and he's really smart in decision making of the partners that he pick and like the relationship of the venture and how he lives his life. He's always like making jokes and having fun out there, and like that's something that I really, really love of a person. If you are out there, the first rule is to have fun.
I make my living as a photographer. What I love about photography is that it's not about English or Spanish. It's a universal language. And I'm always trying my best to translate what I'm seeing to Erik.
It isn't lost on me that Felipe's career is all about being a visual thinker, and I can't see any of that stuff. But what I think is really cool is that photography is created by getting to the essence of an experience. And so I feel like Felipe and I are creating those moments, those experiences that then lead to his art.
A few years ago with Erik and I, we were climbing Devil's Tower. We were rapping down and we were like 2 raps before the ground. I saw that Erik didn't have his personal anchor. I gave him my pass. It was like one of our first trips, so I was kind of scared, like, oh yeah, clip yourself in there, and I let myself like kind of rushing around, like clipping, and I clipped, but it wasn't close enough to close the system. And as soon as I reached over from my sling disconnect, and I was like kind of like, oh shit, I'm falling. I'm falling, and then Erik grabbed me. And at that moment, like, it was like I could have died, you know, like, you just saved my life, Erik. And he was like, huh, really?
Yeah, I saved Felipe's life probably like 10 times.
Thank you, Erik.
Yeah.
Ever since I learned to climb, I wanted to return home to Chile and climb in Patagonia. When I met Erik, I realized this trip could be something more than my own goals. So if all goes as planned, Erik will make the first blind summit of Torre Norte in Torre del Paine, and I will fulfill a dream I have for so many years.
Oh yeah, we
Rocky Talkies. Let's test these.
It's gonna be important in Patagonia.
So windy.
Ooh.
I hate climbing without radios. You never know what the person's doing up there.
You there? You there? You at the top? Is it pouring rain? Is it really windy?
Right, Eric.
Siguiente cumbre.
Estimados pasajeros, bienvenidos a Puerto Natales.
When we arrived in Puerto Natales, we were welcomed by strong winds of Patagonia, and that made me feel like we were in the right place. Stepping off the plane felt like I had finally arrived to the place I've been dreaming about.
We're so lucky to have Tola and Juan, the Signoret brothers. They're legends in this area. They put up first ascents all over the Alpine range, so we're in good hands.
As a blind person, I'd be very unsafe if I didn't have good friends. So that means like a friend like Felipe, but also friends like Tola and Juan who know the area so well.
Here's some chauras for you.
Chowda.
Chaura. It's a native berry, really similar to the calafate. And the people say that once you eat once, every year you can gonna come back here.
Yeah. Oh, perfect then. I ate like 10 of them, so I'll be back 10 times this year.
The first day of the trail, it was rocky and it's work, but it's not dangerous. And then we started moving into the forest. And the forest is okay, but it's you're weaving through the forest and there's a lot of leaning trees, so I have to watch my head. So I'm really paying attention to the trees so I don't smash my face open. And the drop-offs on the right into the river, you know. I mean, it wouldn't have killed me to fall into the river, but it wouldn't have been that nice. And then you move into the boulder fields. Now, the talus is okay, you know, like flat talus or just like glacial till. That's kind of okay, but when we move into the boulders with holes between the boulders and you could slip into those holes and really wrench your ankle or break your leg, that's when it really gets scary. I don't really love boulder fields. I actually kind of hate them, but it's just game on.
Yeah.
Backpack is heavy. It says, end of the trail, do not continue.
That's what it says?
What should we do?
Well, I went up Aconcagua in 1998, and my friend Chris Morris was in front of me, and it was so windy, I couldn't hear him. Normally, I would just follow his footsteps, and I could hear his pack and everything, but it was so windy, I couldn't hear him on the summit. So he was putting his fingers in his mouth, whistling and looking back. It was like mountain Marco Polo, you know? I'd say, Chris, and he'd whistle. And so the next year we didn't summit, and the next year we came back, and he brought a bell, and he said, I think this will help more in the wind. So ever since then, I've been following the bell. They walk in front and they jingle the bell a little bit, and it gives me the sound of direction to follow, but also it creates noise, like sound that I can then begin to hear other things.
It's funny, because the approach to the climb is obviously the crux for Erik, but it's also kind of the hardest part for me too. When I'm hiking with Erik, it's my job to explain the obstacle that we're coming up against, like if there is a rock on the path, or if he needs to watch out for a low tree branch. But English is my second language, so I'm constantly thinking in Spanish and then trying to explain to him in English. It can be really hard for me, and thank God Erik is patient.
Okay, Erik, we're gonna start going down here, a little bit to your left, right there.
As a blind person, you know, like I'm with Felipe and Tola and Juan, and so you have to kind of link your fates together, you know, because I'm not going to go out into the backcountry without my team. We're really kind of all together. Like one person gets hurt or is sick or hurts themselves in any way, then like we all have to take care of each other. So at that point, the summit is less important than taking care of your team.
Okay, me neither. Agüita. Más ratito. Watch out, watch your left.
All right.
Stay on your right. Perfect.
Nuestras está a la playa cerca de Torre Norte. Bitter tea. Whatever. Go away.
Go away.
I'm local. I drink mate all the time. Karen just doesn't know.
I ride horses all the time.
I ride horses, yeah. I've explored this entire range on my bike with drinking mate the whole time. One of the things I love about climbing, I mean, obviously there's the scenery that I can touch and hear, and there's beautiful things happening all around you in the rugged outdoors, but it's the people that are so important to me, because I, as a blind person, I'm not climbing solo, I'm climbing with people. And so I've loved that connection point of making friends in the outdoors and having a bond with people that's hard to get. There's kind of people who open doors and people who slam doors. And I've been so lucky to have people who open doors for me as a blind person, saying like, look, I've never met a blind person. I've never climbed with a blind person. I'm not an expert on blindness, but I want to learn more, and let's take this as far as we can.
There you go.
I remember being so happy when we got to high camp, because it's like this kind of improbable camp above all these steep ramps. You're kind of like halfway up a sort of a semi-cliff. And so just to actually get there at a reasonable hour and sit down, and Tola brought my guitar, which I thought was crazy, but since I was up there and I had the guitar, I played my guitar, and it was a beautiful afternoon. Yeah, high camp is really always fun. It's just so improbable that we're actually standing there.
We are getting so unbelievably lucky with the weather. Tola and Juan say this is the best weather window they've had in many, many years. But I know that everything can change so quickly around here. So I'm just hoping everything holds out for us.
Acá siempre ha sido difícil escalar, difícil coincidir con las ventanas. Mucha gente pasa meses esperando, pero de repente pasan estas cosas que uno no sabe y se abren estos portales con la gente indicada. No se veía ninguna ventana cerca cuando la estábamos mirando ya con anticipación de que venía el viaje, y de la noche a la mañana salió la luna, cambió el clima, llegó Erik y el paine se abrió para él. Erik tiene una energía muy fuerte y el paine, por así decirlo, lo entendió muy bien.
Is it light out?
Once I get onto the tower, I love it, you know, because the hiking is okay, but it's hard to feel my way every step with my poles. But when I got to the tower, you know, I'm feeling with my hands, I feel like I'm in my element. And I think we're moving really nicely up the rock. I can kind of just intuit like what Felipe is doing up there, and I'm listening to him and I'm moving in that direction. For the most part, we're just climbing.
I love climbing with Erik because the big connection of I just feel free when I'm with him, when I'm climbing with him. You know, like the way that he's not spreading beta, just as simple as that. Or like he's just feeling the rope, how it's like going through his belay device, and like he's like just feeling how I'm climbing all the way, and that's the total freedom for me as a climber. You know, just like connect with the rock and connect with the belayer, and he's like totally connected with me through the rope. You know, it's not just about climbing and summiting, it's about like understanding each other, and he has so much experience out there and I'm just learning.
Climbing is not like something where you just say like, I'm going to pick the best climbers in the world and then I'm going to attach myself to them. That's like sort of mechanical, and it's sort of grasping. The way I've always chosen my friendships and my teams is, you know, I meet somebody organically and we climb together and we have a rapport and we are laughing and having a good time, and they seem to care about like making sure that I have a wonderful experience, and I try to help them in return. And so it just builds. It's a natural thing that just builds between friends.
Knowing that that was the last pitch, it was really intense. It was like, wow, this is one of my dreams. I'm about to get to the top. But I kept forgetting, like, oh shit, Erik is down there. I need to keep giving him better. So like, keep getting better for Erik. And then as soon as I get up there, it's like, it just blew my mind. Like it was a dream coming true, and my eyes, my heart was connected, and it was like, wow, this is like what I've been looking all my life to have. An amazing group of friends in a summit like this is just like priceless.
¡Ay, ay, ay! ¡Bienvenido! Tráelo por si acá. Nice, Erik. Buena máquina.
What?
Wow. Nice machine.
Is the cumbre here?
Cumbre. Cumbre. Come sit down next to us. Right here.
Wow.
Okay, Anissa slide down, so just like sit right there. Yeah, close your pocket right there. I don't know if you have something there. Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Patagonia. Eso.
Sitting up there, you know, you just feel like this tiny little human being with this giant terrain all around you. It's so massive, it's so dramatic. You know that the weather could turn and it could become potentially scary. So it's like a sacred place that you feel you're just stepping into for like a moment. And in that way, it is like a church, you know. I've never felt powerful in the mountains. I always feel small, I feel tiny, you know, I feel humble, you know, I feel cold, I feel hungry, I feel thirsty. I feel like I need the warmth of my team around me. So, you know, the mountains actually make me feel very vulnerable like knowing how powerful it is out there, and feeling the connection with that power. It's I guess that sounds strange, but I love it.
Climbing with Erik isn't unique or special because he's blind. To me, it's about the kind of person that he is. I think we get so caught up on what people looks like, whether that's a disability or their skin or color, or whatever. But imagine what climbing will be if we choose our partners based on their patience or their passion for the sport. To me, this trip was all about celebrating partnership that goes beyond the superficial.